Hi guys, welcome to Patrick Pan channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the big mistakes that we make in ReactJS as a beginners. Okay, let's talk about the first mistake. The first mistake is writing many components in a single file. As you guys can see here, we have a user field component writing inside the app.jsx file. So this is not best practice. Imagine that if the size of the component increase maybe 15 or 20 or even 30 plus lines, it will making the component difficult to understand. And the user field component is not encapsulated because it's being used in the same file in app.jsx. So my advice, you can create new folder called components, and you can create new file or new component which is user field.jsx. And then you can create new component inside this file, and you can get rid of this code, and I'm gonna paste it inside this file. Okay, so when you want to use this component, you can import into app.jsx file user field, and you can call it like this. Okay, so this is the best practice that you can use when you want to create component. So basically, you can just isolate the user field component and import it inside this app.jsx file. That's it. Next, the second mistake is not using setState callback to update state correctly. So let's see this example here. I have this function on button click, and inside this function, we call setCount, and we want to update the count state. Right? So as you guys can see here, I just call it 2 times. So what happened when we don't use the callback to update state? Okay, let's see the example. So when you click on the increment count button, as you guys can see here, it will increasing by 1. But this is wrong value because we call it 2 times. We expected value to increasing by 2. So this is why we have to use the callback to update state correctly. Okay, inside this parentheses, you can take one parameters like pref state or pref count, and then return pref count like this. Okay, so this is we using the callback to update state. So if you hit save and go back to Chrome, refresh, you click increment count. As you guys can see here, the value is increasing by 2. So that's it. Always remember that when you want to update state, you have to use the callback to update state correctly. And the third mistake is invoking components with wrong syntax. So let's look in this example here. As you guys can see, I've got user field component, and I call it like this. So this is wrong syntax. But when you execute this code, it's fine, no error. If you go back to Chrome, as you guys can see here, no error. But there's something wrong with this. So when you call the component like this, the app component will re-render multiple times when you type in the user field input. So let's see, I'm gonna console.log and write some text here, re-rendered. Okay, and go back to Chrome. So go to console. If I type in the user input, okay, let's see. As you guys can see here, the app component will trigger and re-render multiple times when value is updated in the input field. So how to fix it? Simple, just use the correct syntax. Always remember that we're not using the syntax. When you want to use the component, we just have to use this syntax like this. Okay, when you want to call a component, just use this syntax. Okay, hit save and go back to Chrome. Okay, let's see, when we type in the user input, as you guys can see here, the app component will not trigger and not re-rendered. So this is why you have to use the correct syntax. And that's it guys. I hope this video was helpful and hope you learned something new in this video. If this video is helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys soon in the next video.